Good evening. Andy Rice in Stanford, Texas. What's he done with that ball cap on his head? Well, tonight, folks, I'm wearing this ball cap in honor of Meredith Tinsley. She's a ranch owner that my wife works for out in Capitan, New Mexico, Flying W Diamond, and the Tinsley family also own the K-Bob Steakhouse in Ruidoso. My wife does herd management administration for them, and Meredith had a health issue. I won't share her business, but I'm wearing this hat tonight in honor of Meredith, and Meredith, we hope you get well real soon. She is a fine woman, and the Tinsley family's a fine family. They've treated my wife very good, and Meredith, we hope you get better. But on to poetry. Most of what I do on here, you guys see, is along the lines of cowboy poetry and Western heritage, and talking about me being a Ace Reed cartoon cowboy most days, because that's what I am. But I write a lot of other stuff too, and I'm pretty sure I did, my education and I was raised in Iowa Park, and I guess after the 8th grade they just felt sorry for me and graduated me. But I write a lot of other stuff too, and a lot of that came from folks like Jack Rock and actually Louis L'Amour. Most people think Louis L'Amour, only wrote the Sackets and everything cowboy. And the fact of the matter is, what most people don't know is Louis L'Amour's first book that was published was poetry, and it actually had nothing to do with cowboys, the West, none of it. It was from his time as a merchant marine, and he wrote about the world that he saw, and the sea, and Hong Kong, and everything. It's a pretty good read. Smoke from This Altar by Louis L'Amour, first published work, and it's all a collection of poems, and there's some pretty dang good ones in there. So if you haven't ever read it, get you a copy, and if you can't get you a copy, can't afford it or whatever, send me a message. I'll read some of them. There's pretty good stuff in there. And as anybody involved in this business or lifestyle knows, the big Tuda is National Cowboy Poetry Gathering out in Elko, and I'd kind of like to get out there and get in on some open mics one of these days, and maybe they'll let me in. I don't know, but I follow that deal, follow that crowd, and but I also I'm a member of the National Poetry Society, which is a worldwide organization based here in the U.S., and every year they hold a competition on a broad category of poems, and most of those categories, have to deal with, or typically deal with something like societal issues, or poverty, or politicians and politics, or it's a broad range. There's the Emily Dixon Award and some others, and each one of those awards has a standard that you have to meet. Well, tonight I'm going to read you one that I submitted back in December, and it's about rural Texas. And we like to tend to believe that in rural Texas and the farming and ranching communities that we don't have any problems, and we kind of set the standard for religion and upright behavior and the whole 9 yards, when the reality is, folks, come on, that's not true. We all know it. And we have Only reason we don't share a lot of the big city problems is because we don't have that kind of population, right? The more population you have, the more problems you're going to have. That's just the way it is. But I grew up in Wichita Falls, and the meth problem was terrible there for a long time. I mean, Burnett, Texas was on Johnny Carson one time being the drug capital of the freaking world per capita. And that's a true story. And, we had our share of challenges in that part of the country and all over Texas, with this damn methamphetamine crap. And I wrote this, Sonora, Texas, has kind of been plagued by it. And I happened to go through there on a couple different deals one time. And I don't know what made this poem stick in my head, but I did see a family with a girl that I knew just wasn't right. And it bothered me a lot, and I wished I'd have said something then, and I didn't, and I hate it to this day. But I wrote this poem about what I thought happened to that girl. It's called Sonora Sonnet. A birthday present turning 12 years old, she did her first meth today, without hesitation, simply doing what her mom and daddy did say. With raging hunger in her belly, she'd seen it a couple 100 times. Grocery money inevitably spent on the sirens call from crystal blue lines. She pleaded for them to stop when she was 10 and far too wise for her years. Distraught, her beautiful green eyes begging and flowing with rivers of tears. They beat her, laughing, that cold, dreary day, locking her in her room. She knew this place well as she'd never been outside her perpetual tomb. No bed, just a filthy and foul-smelling blanket laying on the littered floor, her pillow stolen by whom she knew not many years before. No light had shone through the foil-covered windows, at least not that she could remember. Perhaps it had been shuttered, she thought, when she never saw Christmas December. Now today, in that same dingy room, she felt not well at all. Faster and faster, her mind and heart racing as circles on the floor she does crawl. Fear, sweating, snatching at the blanket, almost out of breath. Happy birthday, she thinks to herself as she wraps herself in her shawl of death. Have a good evening, folks.